you're new here, hi, I'm Alexis. I'm a full-time artist in New York City, and on this channel, typically I share my art and the inspiration behind my art and my thoughts on what it means to be alive at this time in history. If that sounds like something you're into, I invite you to stick around. Some days I wake up and I know exactly what it is that I need to do, and I can just get started. Other days I wake up and my brain is just spinning and I have no idea where to begin. And today is one of those days where I'm just not sure where to begin. I have so many projects that are in various states of being. Some that I've started, some that are further along than others, some that are still kind of swimming in my brain. And so I don't know, I find it really helpful to start with the morning pages and to just kind of brain dump. And then from there, sometimes it's not uncommon that I'll get like a plan of action for the day. I am looking forward to getting the day done. You know, I've got everything pretty much set up here at my desk for the moment, but I am going to enjoy some more water because you gotta stay hydrated. And I'm also gonna go ahead and have this morning's Magic Mind. Magic Mind is a mental performance shot that I enjoy every morning after my coffee and kind of around the time that I get ready to get started for the day, to jump into things. And what I have found is that it actually really helps me a lot with mental clarity. My brain is swimming all of the time and I can very easily get distracted. But what I have found with Magic Mind is that it really helps me, what I keep saying to Mario is it helps me like click in and just really focus and get so much done. And it kind of slows all of the thoughts that are swimming around and really allows me the clarity that I need to accomplish the 1,000 tasks that I have on any given day. And if you would like to try it for the first time ever, Magic Mind is offering 45% off of a bundle of their Magic Mind Daytime Formula and their new Nighttime Formula that really just helps you get restful sleep. You can get up to 45% off if you go to www.magicmind.com/PFTPJAN. That's Paper for the People January. I really love this stuff, and if you, like me, sometimes need that extra, I don't know, push to help stay focused and mentally clear, I would recommend Magic Mind. But now that everything is set for the day and I am ready to get going, I'm gonna get the next layer for the tree. I think I want to start there. I think today I'm gonna kind of do a little bit of everything. I'm gonna work on a tree, I'm gonna work on a person, maybe do some sketching. I always have very big dreams and very big hopes for each day. And I know that I probably won't get all of it done, but I think if I can get some of it done, I'll feel really proud of myself. So I'm gonna go get that layer for that tree and let's get some more leaves done. So these 4 layers took a little over 10 hours. I know that because I listened to an audiobook while I worked on it. I listened to God of the Woods. It's one that was just like in all of the windows of the bookshops here in New York and kept popping up, and you know, it was, I enjoyed it. It was fine. And it definitely was something that I enjoyed well enough to keep me distracted when my fingers really started to hurt from gluing all of these leaves. There's like 8,000 leaves on these 4 layers. I mean, like, holy cow. There you can kind of see how like detailed it is, and like the thing is, I could have left this like more or less just like a layer of paper, but I have this vision of this building just kind of like enveloped by trees. So it creates like this canopy of protection, if you will. I don't know. I'm really into science. And I'm really into just how interconnected everything is. I'm really into plants and trees, and I have a book on my shelf that I've been wanting to read for a while, and I think this year might be the year, but it's called Entangled Life, and it is about just like fungi. However, I read a book not that long ago, maybe a couple years ago, called Overstory, and one of the characters in that story studied trees and just like the interconnectedness of trees, and it absolutely reminded me of a podcast by Radiolab a handful of years ago at this point, where they had scientists on and they were talking about how the root system of trees and the way that they communicate and protect one another is really phenomenal. And it's just like this reminder that the world is so much bigger than we can even in our small brains begin to understand. And I really love trees. We used to have a beautiful, like big tree in our backyard, and they cut it down a couple of years ago, and when I say that it wrecked me, I sobbed for 2 days over this damn tree. But it really like broke my heart, because it was just like this beautiful thing in this backyard in New York City, and birds were just always all around, and it was just like such a lovely thing to watch the seasons pass through. But I don't know, I have such a great affinity for nature and trees, and I really thinking about like these community scenes, and I want there to be like great care and connection within the people in these scenes, but I also like the symbolism of the trees is really important to me, and just like what we have learned about how trees like connect and communicate, and it's just another layer of that. So I want some big ass trees to hug my people. And also there's just this vision in my mind of like, I don't know, it's like this otherworldly vision of just like being able to exist under this canopy of trees, you know, in a place and in a world where there is tremendous care. And I just got a little emotional. Whoa. I think I just got a little emotional because everything feels really scary in America right now. And I know we can do better. And I hope we do better. And I hope that we protect one another and we are brave enough to take the action to build the future that so many of us dream is possible. But I am going to go put my trees back on the table where they'll be safe, and I think I'm just gonna work on this small layer. So if I keep it manageable, I'm gonna do this small layer and then we'll work on another person. But I really think that it's about you know, moving many projects along incrementally so that in the end everything gets done. So that's where we're at today. All right, so I mentioned that I finished an entire audiobook in like just over a day. I had an hour left yesterday. So I'm in between audiobooks and I don't want to jump into anything else just yet. So today is going to be a podcast day. I mentioned before there's a podcast that I really like called Night Owl, and it's just like paranormal, like people go and investigate haunted places, but it's not like Ghost Adventures. It's actually pretty thoughtful and slow, and I don't know, I'm into like the thoughtful. So this is what I'm listening to today, and or at least where I'm gonna get started, and then we'll figure it out from there. I was listening to some TLC Pandora while I was doing my morning pages because that is my favorite station. I don't do Spotify, but I do some Pandora, and give me any genre from the 90s and I'm into it. But lately, for like the last year or so, it's always been TLC. But I am gonna figure out how I want these leaves to lay as we listen to this podcast. making progress and it feels good. We have the first layer of the tree done. So we have all of these leaves, which is nice. And I've started this second layer. And so this is for the second tree. And I think I'm gonna stop there because as y'all saw, I use my tweezers for every leaf. And I'm not joking when I tell you that this is thousands of leaves, because each one of these sheets I think has like 6 times 127, which I think is like 764. You can check the math on that, but like over 750 leaves. And we have like all of these cut out. One thing that I have really enjoyed about this process, sorry, I'm not gonna stop talking, you can hear the buzzer. It's a really noisy building, normally I stop. But you can see, I've been really enjoying figuring out, like changing the direction of the leaves so that it looks like it's like more organically grown. And I think that has been one of the more fun things about creating these trees, is just not only the extreme meditative aspect of hand gluing thousands of little pieces, but like envisioning how branches grow and how the leaves sprout forth from that in a way that it feels organic and not just like a waving pattern, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, making lots of progress. I'm really happy with how it's turning out, but I am gonna take a break because using the tweezers really takes its toll on my fingers, and I'm still gonna use them for this next part. You can see it's dark outside. It's still getting dark pretty early, but that took a bit of time. I want to make one more aspect of this today, and I showed you the piece, and I have many people that are already created, but I today want to make this woman that I cut out to begin with a couple days ago. Where is she? Here she is. And she's just my little tea drinker. So I don't know, I'm really excited about this one, and I want to really find the texture of her afro and really build that out. And I'm gonna do the trick that I showed you in the last vlog that I used with like Malcolm X and Nikki Giovanni, where it's just layering little dots of paper to create the curls. And I think that that is absolutely the way to go with her hair. So I am gonna get these leaves all put away, and after all of this gets put away, then I have to figure out what colors I want to use for her, because I'm trying to find like the right color, you know, not use too many of the same colors within the same windows that are close together, but finding the right balance. So you can see, yeah, I still have all of these leaves, which is good because I still have 2.5 layers of paper. Let's get set up and let's get this woman going. And I'm really excited about her. So I am feeling really good. I don't know about you, and I know I mentioned this on Instagram, but when the world feels out of control, whether it's like the world at large or my little world, working with my hands really helps. It's like a really meditative time that allows me to process. And I was thinking more about Nick Cave's quote about hope being like, I don't know exactly what it was, but something along the lines of like, hope is wisdom with a broken heart, or something like that, or hope is what you do with a broken heart, versus like optimism, which is just perhaps a little bit more naive. I read a book earlier this past spring, and I know I shared it very, very briefly in one of the vlogs. Maybe I shared it in one of my Artist Way videos, but it is a book written by 2 community organizers, Miriam Kaba and Kelly Hayes, and it's called Let This Radicalize You. And if you will indulge me for just a moment, there's a section on hope that I've been really thinking a lot about as it relates to where we are and I hope it would provide you with a little bit of comfort or encouragement. So give me just 1 second. Here's this section, if you're following along at home, on page 176, they're talking about, it says, hope too requires us to reject indifference. And like any indifference rejecting phenomenon, it demands effort in order to thrive. When we talk about hope in these times, we are not prescribing optimism, okay? Rather, we are talking about a practice and a discipline. What Joanna Macy and Chris Johnstone have termed active hope. So as Macy and Johnstone write, quote, active hope is a practice. Like Tai Chi or gardening, it is something we do rather than have. It is a process we can apply to any situation, and it involves 3 key steps. First, we take a clear view of reality. Second, we identify what we hope for in terms of the direction we'd like things to move in, or the values we'd like to see expressed. And third, we take steps to move ourselves, our situation, in that direction. Since active hope doesn't require our optimism, we can apply it even in areas where we feel hopeless. This guiding impetus is intention. We choose what we aim to bring about, act for, or express, rather than weighing our chances and proceeding only when we feel hopeful. We focus on our intention and let it be our guide. And it says, this practice of hope allows us to remain creative and strategic. It does not require us to deny the severity of our situation or detract from our practice of grief. To practice active hope, we do not need to believe that everything will work out in the end. We need only to decide who we are choosing to be and how we are choosing to function in relation to the outcome we desire and abide by what those decisions demand of us. This practice of hope does not guarantee any victories against long odds, but it does make those victories more possible. Hope, therefore, is not only a source of comfort to the afflicted, but also a strategic imperative. And I have thought about that no less than 1,000 times since I read it. And as everything is like coming to unfold within the first week or 2 of his term, this is what I keep coming back to. They want us to feel hopeless. They want us to be overwhelmed, because in hopeless overwhelm, we are ineffective and we're paralyzed. And time again, I have found myself in that place. But what I have seen so many movement leaders reiterate over the past handful of days is to stay focused and to be informed, but to be intentionally informed so that you can stay engaged in the work that you were meant to do. And so I think it is absolutely this active hope, right? Things feel terrifying and out of control, and it's really easy in those moments to fall into despair. But I choose this active hope. And I think about Ibram X. Kendi. Years ago, I watched a talk that he did. And if you're unfamiliar, he's also an anti-racist educator here in America. But this is not a new idea, but it was the first time I heard these words, so I always attribute them to him. But he said, you have to believe that the impossible is possible. Otherwise, it will always be impossible. And he was talking about like the enslaved people here in America and how important it was for them to believe that a future where slavery was abolished was possible. Otherwise, freedom would never come, right? And I just think about that all of the time. And I think about how it relates to movements and how it relates to liberation and how it relates to the future that so many of us are imagining and working in our own small ways to create, because I think what we have to keep in mind is that it's all of the small actions that add up to large action. And we in the moment can feel, what is one person, or what is one voice, or what can I possibly add in this moment that would make an impact? But what I think we need to not lose sight of is that we are all individuals, and when we act together, there is power. Because the people united will never be defeated. And so it's finding your community and finding ways to plug into the larger movements and bring your gifts and your voice and your talents and your strengths, because that is what will make the impossible possible. I'm still terrified, but I think that in that state of terror, holding on to hope and knowing that sometimes terror is a necessary initiator to really get movements teeth. And I don't know, that sometimes when we make our largest gains and our largest steps. And so that is what I'm holding on to. It's funny because I had a girlfriend who works at a coalition here in the city, and she serves a significant population of immigrants, and she's kind of like my canary. I've referred to her as my canary here a handful of times in the last week, and she is really nervous and really scared, but she told me to, she was like, as an atheist, I'm going to tell you, whatever you believe in, whatever higher power, start praying now. And I couldn't help in that moment to tell her that I believe in the people. Yes, there are people who got us where we are, but there are so many tremendous people who are fighting for something better. And I believe in the people's ability to create better. And so, I don't know, man. There is this active hope, and hope exists within me very much within that brokenheartedness. And so I think it does make me a little emotional when I think about it, because I think it does exist very closely to despair, and there is a very conscious choice to choose hope and to hold on to what is possible and what we can build when we come together and when we resist in the face of great oppression. And I don't know, man. I refuse to give up hope, and I hope that you also will join me in refusing to give up hope and to see it as a choice and a defiance and as a means to move through great odds. Because I truly, truly, truly believe, I can't explain it, man, but in my core, I believe that we will get to a place where things are better. And I know that oftentimes you have to go through really bad shit to get there. So we're in the shit right now. So let's get through it together and come out on the other side ready to build and embrace and celebrate. But didn't know y'all were gonna get all of that, but I think I've just, like I said, when I work with my hands, and y'all saw that tree over there on the table, that took me over 10 hours, and I just got this done, and I've just been like spinning a lot on what's happening and what can be. And I am choosing to focus on what can be while very much staying as much as I can without totally losing my mind, informed. And I don't know, I'm really glad that you're here, and I'm glad that we can navigate this together. And I know that this moment in time is very specific to America, but I am not naive enough to believe that America does not have global reach. And so I know that this will impact communities around the world. And I think that, yes, nationally we need to come together, but I also am really excited to see how globally we come together and take a stand against this resurgence of the alt-right. So I don't know. I really love y'all. I really do. And I'm so grateful that you're here. And I'm grateful that you share your thoughts with me, and that you also perhaps dare to dream. So, all right. I'm gonna get going on my precious little tea drinker, and I'm excited to see, like always, how she comes together. I'm really excited about her hair. So let's take a good look of her before, right? The basic sketch, no details. All right, you see her? Basic sketch, minimal details. This is what we're gonna start with. And I will be back in a bit of time to share with you all who she becomes. And she's done. I think she turned out pretty cute. Her hair, I really love it. I'll show you. I think I'm getting better at this. Let's see. Yeah. So you can see my little, decided to put coffee in there because, you know, I like coffee. But my little, she's gonna sit on the windowsill and listen to the jazz player, because there was one time when I was walking around in Fort Greene and there really was a jazz player sitting out the window playing the saxophone, and I was like, what is this? But I think she turned out real cute. So we're gonna call this one done, and I am gonna clean up my desk, and I think that's gonna wrap it up. But if you made it this far, I really want to thank you for spending your time with me. I am truly so grateful. And if you found value here, as always, please give it a thumbs up or leave a comment. Any engagement that you are able to provide really helps YouTube know that there's something happening here, and it's more willing to share me with wonderful people like you. And if you would like to follow along as I share my life as a full-time artist here in Brooklyn, New York, I would be truly honored if you subscribed. But lastly, whatever time of day you've watched this, I hope it's been a kind one. Until next time. Don't forget, if you would like to try Magic Mind for yourself, you can get up to 45% off a bundle if you go to www.magicmind.com/PFTPJAN.